Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Style. In this video series I talk about my favorite game of all time, Cosmic Encounter, and I give you guys 5 alien powers that work together in some interesting way or have a similar real-world theme or affect the same mechanism in the game. Today I'm going to be talking about something fairly unique that involves the real world, and that is my favorite powers, or at least some of my favorite powers. These particular ones, they interact a little bit, not as much as you might like, but these are just some of my most favorite ones to have at the table for negotiation purposes and just general table talk and interaction amongst the players. But without further ado, to start us off, we have the Seeker from Cosmic Incursion. The Seeker is rather unique because this is one where you simply get to ask any yes or no question, and the opposing player has to answer honestly. Most often this will be something like, are you going to play a negotiate? Are you going to play your 40? You know, things along those lines. And again, they have to answer honestly, and they must stick by whatever their answer is. That said, there's a lot of wiggle room in terms of how you phrase the question, how they can phrase the answer, and blah 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 and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Next up is the Magician, also from Cosmic Incursion. Very fun and extremely mean. This is one where the opposing player has to put down 2 encounter cards face down, and the Magician randomly takes 1 to their hand and then plays their card. So this can be absolutely brutal, especially if you're trying to perform a negotiation in order to trade planets, but it's a very, very dangerous and very frustrating but extremely fun power to have. Next up, Cosmic Alliance, the Skeptic. The Skeptic is really fun and arguably one of my, if not my favorite one of all time. This is one where very simply you get to say, I doubt you'll win. If the opponent agrees that they probably won't win, then they go home, they don't die. Or if they're the defense, they just stay at home and everybody still gets the colony. So it works out for everybody. If they say, oh no, I got this in the bag, then whoever ends up losing loses twice as many of the ships that they otherwise would have. Very brutal. Next up, also from Cosmic Alliance, the Schizoid. Arguably one of my favorites. Well, all these are arguably my favorites. Schizoid, very interesting because it changes the win condition. In the Fantasy Flight Edition, the way it works is you have a set of cards and you pick one, and that card represents whatever the new win condition for anybody is, and you say, oh, you succeeded, you win. That said, if you end up getting the flare, you can actually write down a very specific and more intense, potentially, win condition that all of the players have to obey. And again, it just makes the game absolutely insane and completely ridiculous. Last but certainly not least, Kronos from Cosmic Incursion. In this case, you can time travel and rewind any encounter that you're involved in. You can say, oh, time travel, after all is revealed and counted up. The opposing player has to put their card to the side, and then everybody gets to pick again from whatever their hands are. So it makes some very interesting things, especially with the Magician involved, but also with like the Skeptic and with the Seeker especially, saying, are you going to time travel, and things along those lines. So there's a lot of interesting sort of interactions going on with these particular cards. And again, there's some of my favorite mechanics. They mix and match a little bit, so it makes for some interesting table time. However, definitely need to be played by experienced players only is my recommendation. That said, thank you very much for watching this episode of Cosmic Style. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.